I've been doing a fuck ton of researches. I'm waiting for my fucking DNA results to come back from Ancestry.com. I'm thinking I'm gonna need to go to somebody else. I'm gonna have to save up money. A friend of mine gave me that gift, and to that friend, I thank you. Um, but I'm gonna have to go to another fucking source because they're like taking fucking forever. I just want to know how much Cherokee I have. I don't want to know every genealogy from where the fuck my people came from. You don't need to tell me how much Cherokee. I want to know if I can get membership. If our family has been lied to all these. I'm gonna read some shit from Wiki. It's got let's get to the good shit. Alright, so Cherokee, and it gives you all this other shit that you don't need to see, are one of the Iroquois people, southeastern woodlands of the United States. Prior to the 18th century, they lived in southeastern Tennessee, the edges of North Carolina, North Georgia, northeastern Alabama. The Cherokee language is part of the Iroquois language. In the 19th century, James Mooney, I don't give a flying fuck about that guy. And if you go a little further down, in the 18th century, white American settlers had classified Cherokee as southeastern as one of the 5 civilized tribes in the region. The Agrarian lived in permanent villages and had begun to adopt some of the cultures and technologies and practices of white settlers. They also developed their own writing system. Today, Cherokee tribes are federally recognized in the United Keetoowah Band of Cherokee, UKB, in Oklahoma. The Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma, the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians in Northern Carolina. Alright, I'm not going to go too much further with this, but the Cherokee Nation has more than 3,000 tribal members, might be the largest of the 567 federally recognized tribes in the United States. So I'm not doing this to get any money. I am doing this to get recognition, to find out what my fucking bloodline is, because it was going to help me with college, but I'm almost done with college, so now I really kind of just want to know what the fuck my Native American ancestry actually is. Alright, so we're going to click over to Native American tribes in Virginia, which is also on Wikipedia. Commonwealth of Virginia, United States, blah, blah, blah. It has Iroquois occupied regions 12,000 years ago. The population is estimated, blah, blah, blah. And then the Iroquois, and then it has the Powhatan, and you go on down, because I know Powhatan was further south. And then you have federally recognized Panuki. I didn't say that shit right, so I'm just going to fucking spell it out for you. Pamunkey, Indian tribe. Chickahominy. I'm not saying that shit right either. So I'm going to spell both of those out, because you have Chickahominy, and you have Eastern with the same word, and you have Upper Mattaponi, whatever. Mattaponi. And then you got Rappahannock and Nesomonic. It's fuck. Nansemond. And then you have Monacan. Alright? And these are in Virginia. Not one word of Cherokee is written on this page. Alright? And then we go to a different source. Alright? I'm still Googling the fuck out of this shit, but it's frustrating me, so I want to talk about it on my Kung Fu Havoc 2 channel. So now I went to this guy. And so I got all the way down. I'm not going to read all this shit because it starts off with Winston-Salem in North Carolina. And then it goes further down into why so many Americans claim that Cherokee is their blood heritage. So the reason why I'm making this video is because I got all the way down here to, let me see if I can find it again, because this is what happened when I scrolled the fuck up. Alright, so most scholars agree that Cherokee and Iroquois-speaking people have lived in what today is southeastern United States. Here we go, because the other shit didn't have this. So we have Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, North and South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama. And as I just read, Oklahoma, which is not on this right now. So then I'm sitting here and I'm like, alright, so which one do I go with? Because this is what Google gave me, and that is what Wikipedia and them gave me. But Wikipedia doesn't say Cherokee lived in Virginia, and now I gotta find out if Cherokee came from the Powell Heights. Alright, so that's like my next thing. But I just wanted to put that out there because I've been waiting on these damn DNA results for over like a month or two. I don't know what's taking them so long. It's like they're breaking it down to every last fiber of whatever DNA is. And I need to just find out from somebody who's just going to tell me the percentage of black, Native American, and white DNA that I have. I don't want to go through all the where the fuck they came from shit. I just want to know what I have. So that way I can figure out if I'm going to get my Cherokee blood to help me get a membership into the Cherokee Nation. Because if I am Cherokee, I like to be a part of the Cherokee Nation. Now, there's one more thing before I go. Because I also clicked on this other thing from Wikipedia. Where the fuck is it? Is that it? Nope, that's not it. That is not it. Come on, goddammit. That ain't it. This is not it either. Where the fuck is it? Okay. So, somewhere, which is not here, because I can't find it. So it's either on this part here. Yeah. So, come on, click on this bitch. So I sent a letter. Oh. Now it won't resubmit. Okay, well, I don't need to resubmit. I already sent it. So, I can't show you this thing, but if I can scroll up, I can tell you where I sent it to. I sent the letter to the editor of the Talladega, or that's probably not how you say that shit, but T-A-H-E, let me try it again, T-A-H-L-E-Q-U-A-H Press, because it has something to do with Native Americans. And that said that somebody, let me click back, so it says Cherokee citizenship determined by Don Rolls, not by DNA. So I'm a little bit fucked up on that because I was like, you know, when I talk to the American Indian, goddammit, when I talk to the American Bureau of Indian Affairs, the BIA, whatever the fuck they call it, or the Bureau of Indian Affairs, whatever the fuck they call the shit. It's a long fucking process that I'm going through right now. And I talked to them, and it's like, well, you have to have a DNA test so we can prove that you have Native American blood in you at all before we can even consider you. And then after you do that, you have to be sequestered by a tribe, not just your tribe, but like if you are to be accepted into the Native American tribe at all, they have to accept you. So even if you have Native American blood, they don't necessarily want to count you as a Native American. So I'm busting backflips in my head and thinking, well, what the fuck kind of bullshit is that? If my great-grandmother was a Native American and not by the reservation, why the fuck can I not be counted as a Native American, even though I am mixed and I don't deny my other two heritages? Why can I not be counted because of all this legality and shit? And I'm like, well, goddamn, you know, what the fuck? How does this work? You know, I mean, how many more hoops am I going to have to jump through before I actually get a fucking answer? Now, before I go any further, because I'm going to end this video on this shit would have never happened. I would have been just fine knowing that I have some Native American in me was good enough for me. I didn't have to go through all these fucking hoops. Until one day, this is how the story all got started. Two things happened. Two things. Alright, because I have to pay for college. In some of the 50 states, if you are half Native American, like completely, like 50%, some colleges you go to school at half price, and in some states you go to school for free, which would be great. And I think that Native Americans should all take advantage of that. I'm sorry if y'all think I'm trying to be a POC or whatever the fuck. I'm not trying to profit against Native Americans. I'm actually trying to get the Native Americans to profit on the shit that was taken from them. If you were full-blooded Native American in some states, and I learned this from college, I don't know who told me, but I started looking into it after, but I didn't really get like too deep into it. And it's like in certain states, in certain other 50 states, the more Native American you have in you, like if you are full-blooded in some states, you can go to college for free. And I didn't fucking know that shit. I just thought it was bullshit, which is how I got in contact with the Bureau of Native American Affairs or Bureau of Indian Affairs after I was in McGuire. I had to go in for a checkup for my hip. And I talked to this dude who was half Native American. He had the Native American facial structure, but his skin tone was darker than me. So he wasn't full blood, and if he was full blood, I don't know how the hell that happened. But he looked more black from the body down. You know, see, I'm light up here. None of this was on him. None of it. He was darker than me, way darker. So on the color scale, you know, he was closer to this than this. He was darker than this brown, but not this black. So he was dark. And he's like, son, I got to ask you a question. And, you know, in the Army, in all military branches, manners is the one thing that they emphasize more than anything else. They emphasize fucking manners. So when you're like not in your uniform, it's okay. But when you are in uniform, when you're on a military facility, you are not to do all that swearing. Now that I watch all these TikTok videos, I kind of don't even want to believe that shit anymore. But anyway, the point being made is he looked at me and we got to talking. And he said, so, which one of your parents is Native American? I was like, ain't neither one of my parents Native American. My grandparents are Native American. He said, well, so are you Native American on both sides or just one side? I said, well, as far as I know, it's both sides. But that doesn't mean that I have enough Native American DNA in me to qualify as a Native American. He said, well, you look damn near full blood. And I was like, no, I'm not, and I'm not going to lie about that shit. And I have been ostracized by one tribe. I don't know who they were, but they were playing wheelchair basketball with our team. It is not the Mohawks, because I have a friend who's a Mohawk, a very high-ranking Mohawk. And they told me I wasn't pure blood. And I told the guy the story. He's like, well, don't worry about those motherfuckers. You look pretty close to pure blood. I was like, yeah, well, looks are deceiving. My great-grandmother on my father's side came from the Powhite area. I have not found a Powhite reservation. I'm still looking for that shit. But we've been told by her and by her daughter, my grandmother, that we were Cherokee. So that much we know. As far as my mother's side, we believe that her mother is either part Cherokee or all Cherokee. We don't know because of whatever the structure is. So I'm like, well, goddamn. So he's like, yeah, you need to get your Native American card. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I.e., he started talking about the Bureau of Indian Affairs, which is the second part of what sent me on this fucking journey in the first place. You know, it was kind of better off when I just didn't fucking know. When I knew that I was part Native American and just left it at that, you know, thank you, Miss Conrad. But this journey has been a bitch. It is honestly, truly, God, has been a fucking bitch. And I'm like, well, goddamn. And I'm not going to lie, I do feel more Native American than black or white. But at the same goddamn time, this shit right here has been a pain in the ass. So hopefully this shit's going to work out in my favor. And I just wanted to post this video to let you guys know the shit that I'm going through. The journey is hopefully going to be worth it. I'm almost out of college, so I don't really need them to help me get into college anymore. Because I got 2 classes left, not counting this class. Actually, no, I have 2 classes left, counting this class and fall. Or spring or whatever the hell. Whatever after summer, if I get financial aid, I will be able to do one last class and I will graduate from Piedmont with a degree in police science, an associate's degree. So pray for me on that. Now, here I am struggling to get this Native American stuff so that not only me, but other Native Americans can find out if this shit is true or if I'm just grasping at straws. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm grasping at straws, at least I'll know not to believe the bullshit about, well, you half Native American, you can go to school for free. See, and now that I'm almost out of school, none of that shit even fucking matters. I just want to know where I stand in the bloodline of Native Americans. Because after what I just said, and everything that I've read, and everything I'm still fucking reading, I'm like, well, what the fuck is the truth? And I am a truth quester. I quest for the truth no matter what. And I would much rather know the truth and get it out of the way than live a lie. Because, you know, I'm not ashamed of being black until somebody black does something fucking stupid. I'm not ashamed of being white. But the problem is, let's look at my face here. I'm never going to be white. I understand that shit. I'm never going to be biologically, physically white. So all I can either do is be Native American and black or just Native American. But the DNA, shockingly enough, from what I read so far, I apparently have more white DNA than black and Native American DNA. So this shit's confusing the fuck out of me because I don't think they're really giving me my DNA per se. I think they're like digging so deep into the DNA that they found that it's mine, but it's not my direct DNA. It's like we're not gonna go to the surface DNA. We're gonna go to the guts and glory of your ancestors and where they came from. Okay, here's the point. I don't give a fuck about that. I need to know how much Native American I have. It's the only DNA that they have no percentage of yet. So I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck are you guys doing? You know, am I a fucking alien? You know, how hard is it to find American-based native DNA? It's not that fucking difficult. But I bet if I was a fucking criminal, they could fucking find that shit. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Be seeing you.